Hey, you're finally awake. We got some skibbity toilets hiding in the tree line over there. He keeps gooning all over the crops. The only problem is all I've got is this Remington 597 and this Ruger 1022. I'm very tired of cleaning up goon. I'm planning on putting an end to skibbity toilet once and for all and end the brain rot war. Okay, so I'm back with some more video time. In the last video of Rimfire Rivals, we did the Remington 597 versus the 1022. That's what's happening here again today. Nothing has changed. We're probably going to do some different tests. We're probably going to get some different results, blah, 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 blah. Even I don't know what's going on, and that is literally me.
This dull creature displayed here expects us, the viewer, and I, to care about what he has to say. As his yap sesh prolongs, the timestamp carries on. And as the timestamp progresses, so does the lack of viewership every second. Is he aware of this? Absolutely not. He may have a disorder that tricks the brain into thinking that everything it says is important. We'll call it machinator disorder. LOL.
But some of you may remember from the last video, we did that whole video with the Ruger not being sighted in. So first things first, I'm gonna do that finally. As I began to sight in the red dot, I realized the joys of shooting is not about the equipment you have, but the skills you have. Nah, I'm just kidding. The red dot was messed up, so I took it off. We're going raw, baby. We're doing iron sights. Yeah, I was sighting it in, and it's just going all over the place, and no matter what I tried to do, it just kept doing its own thing. So I just said, screw it. I took it off. We're going to do irons now. The Remington has no iron sights, so the scope will stay on that one. This test is not going to be about accuracy. This is going to be about consistency. We're going to see how tight of a grouping we can get out of the Remington. This is the Ruger and the Remington. We're going to get that. We're going to do that. So same as the last video, we're going to be doing federal because, as I said in the last video, it is best. It is ideal for semi-autos. How do you load this thing? And don't worry, there's no previous hits on this target because I couldn't hit the thing with the red dot.
Oh my God, you freaking noob, you're serious right now? Let me get this straight. You still think the Ruger will bolt release when you load it? How many times do you have to fall for this, you moron? Do you ever think about what you're doing in life? You must be retarded.
I'm kind of tired of shooting so slow and trying to be accurate. So I'm gonna go count how many hits are on there, and then we'll just do the same amount of rounds for the Remington. Well, that was almost a full mag. I should have just muscled through it. Not too shabby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just kidding. I can actually run them just fine. I'm not really out of breath. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do 7 rounds out of the Remington because I'm lazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was so much easier. I think we're gonna see that I got a little cocky, like how easy it was to shoot, and that this grouping is gonna be a little more spread out. What I should have done was not put these right on top of each other, so we could compare better. Yeah, that kind of messed that one up, but it's all good. Okay, so here's the Ruger 1022. You can cover it up with the thumb. And then here's the Remington, just outside of the thumb. I think that's a little bit of shooter error, if I do say so myself. Let's talk a little bit about recoil. As I reload here, I want to point out 2 very important things. The 1022, with its Magpul stock, is significantly lighter. It also has a shorter barrel, so there's less metal involved. I'm going to load 3 rounds up, and then just do 3 rapid fire rounds. Rapid fire, 3 rounds.
Having a strong.
Yeah. And you will notice, I would hope you would notice the difference in recoil. it might not come across camera very well. The other thing to note is that it's just a 22. There's not a lot of recoil. There's virtually no recoil to begin with. As with any gun, there's a trade-off. You're gonna get less recoil with a heavier gun, but you're gonna have a heavier gun. More recoil with a lighter gun, but it's a lighter gun. And I mean like significantly lighter. I noticed that this is a lot joltier with its recoil. It has more of a impulse in its recoil. This is significantly heavier, and it was heavy before the scope even went on. It's got a slightly longer barrel. It's also got a slightly thicker barrel. What I personally experience is a slightly further kick, but a lighter kick. This one I feel like is a lot more impulsier. This one has more of an impulse, but it doesn't push you back as far. With this, I feel it's easier to get back on target because it is such a lighter recoil. Yes, it might throw you back a little further, but it's not going up and over or anything like that. It is just a straight into the shoulder nudge. It's easier to keep it on target, I feel. Now, these things don't always come with the Magpul stocks. You can get, you know, other stocks. I feel like the stock has reduced the weight significantly. And part of that is why the recoil is so impulsive versus with the 5.97 where it's a heavier gun, but whatever recoil that the 22 LR does manage to put into the rifle, it is moving all that weight, giving it more momentum versus this where it's a harder kick.
Are you kidding me?
They put more engineering into making this thing easy than into the design of a basic nuclear reactor.
It's a harder kick, but it's so light that it doesn't throw you off very far. Like it bounces up so hard and so quick. Not hard, I mean it's a 22, but you know what I mean. Like it is such a quick little throw, whereas this just pushes you back. I don't see much of a difference at all, really. Recoil-wise, I personally like the 5.97, but as said before, it's a heavier gun. But you mustn't forget, we are talking about the 22 LR. This is not going to give you much of a recoil to complain about. Let's talk about loadability. And no, I don't mean magazine loadability titty. I'm talking about picking up the gun and throwing the mag in. Let's say there's 1,000 squirrels and you have 10 magazines or 100 magazines, and so then they're all 10 round magazines, blah, 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 and you gotta reload super quick, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm gonna start off with the 1022. My gun is empty, and oh, I gotta get my bag, I gotta get another mag in. I missed and I thought it was empty. Not bad. Okay, I've shot all my rounds. I need to. I don't have much practice with it. It's a little frustrating. Like I said, it just takes practice, I guess. Freeze! Stop in the name of Skibbity. I don't know, man. Something about shoving a brick in a hole is just not that fun. You can't go wrong with that. Okay. Trying to get too much of a hurry. It don't get no much easier than that now, huh? That wasn't bad. Like I said, it's a brick you're trying to put in a hole. There's too much to get hung up on that mag well. Especially with it being a flush mag well that's not flared or anything. If you go slow with it, it's not bad. And I can't imagine ever being in a hurry to reload at 22. Yeah, I mean, same thing here. It's not a flared mag well, and it's not like a big boxy mag either. I mean, it's pretty simple to get in there. Like, it's not gonna get hung up on a bunch of things. It's not getting hung up on the mag well itself because there are so many ridges on the face of that magazine at the top. It's so easy to get it hung up on any of that. And for whatever reason, it is just really hard to snap into place. Not hard, but I mean, it's like, it doesn't just slide in there once you get it in the mag well. It requires a little extra push. This simply slides and hooks into place and you're done. And I mean, I'm not even standing up. I'm just sitting here at a table with my mags laid out and grabbing the gun and the mag from right here and slapping it in there. And it's, like I said, you can't be in a hurry with it, but I can't imagine ever being in a hurry unless you're hunting and you've got 1,000 squirrels coming at you. One last thing I would like to talk about is the trigger pull. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull the trigger slowly. I'm gonna show you what little play they have and slowly pull the trigger, and I'm gonna give you a feel for how heavy or light the triggers are. So the Remington has little to no play in the trigger. It doesn't take a lot to pull that trigger. I mean, maybe a 3-pound trigger, maybe a little heavier than that, but it's very light regardless. And then the 1022, you get a little bit of play, not much. It's very identical to the 5.97, so I'm gonna pull this really slow. That to me feels like a 5-pound trigger. It might be on par with the 5.97. It's right there neck and neck. So if that's another concern, it doesn't matter. Don't buy a discontinued gun for the trigger pull. In fact, this whole test right here plays into my final note. The 5.97 is discontinued. It's a discontinued weapon. It was discontinued in 2019. I discussed this in my last video. You can buy aftermarket triggers for the 1022. I don't think you can buy them for the 5.97. And if you could, probably not anymore. Now, I don't know why the 5.97 was discontinued. Probably because it wasn't as modifiable as the 1022. I mean, you can buy just about anything for that gun. And even going into the aesthetics, yes, this is a nicer gun, but I mean, throw a bipod, a strap, and a scope on the 1022, and it's probably gonna look just as good, if not better. I don't feel like this exact configuration would look good with all of that on it because of the stock. It's not my favorite. I feel like you can make this gun look just as good as the 5.97. I don't think that aesthetics-wise is something to go by either. Accuracy-wise, you saw what this gun can do. I'm not trying to down the 1022 or the 5.97. I'm just saying, I probably could have done better when it came to shooting the 5.97. I probably could have, like, you know, held my breath a little longer or whatever. But back to the whole trigger thing, I mean, they're very on par. They're both great guns, that's all I can say. It's a shame that the 5.97 was discontinued, but, you know, the 1022 kind of just came in and was like, well, hey, look what all you can do. I think Ruger just, like, really grabbed the market by the balls and was like, let's make this thing 100% customizable. Words are hard. And I think they won doing it that way. I'm shocked at how well the 1022 really is. Don't get me wrong. I'm genuinely surprised at how well it can do. In my tests on camera and off camera, I've been surprised with how on par the two of them are. But that goes the same goes for the Remington. It was discontinued, so therefore it's expected to be a worse gun. No, it's actually just as good, I feel like, except for the fact that you can't customize it as much as you can a 1022. Accuracy, function-wise, they're neck and neck, in my opinion. But like I said, don't get a gun that they don't make anymore just because of the trigger or because it can cycle 22 shorts very well, I should say. But either way, thank you for watching. I'll probably be doing more with these two firearms in the future. But for now, I really got to go get this skibbity guy because
you are damn pathetic.
He's really screwing with my groove. Directed by Michael Bay.